Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Patricia Joe Grover Show. This is where we turn believers into achievers. And today, my guest is Lori McNeil. And let me tell you about a little bit about Lori. She is an international business coach and a media strategist. And she also is an international speaker and an award winning business coach. Lori McNeil focuses on the foundational tools needed for long term success. Lori's vast 23 years of experience has been featured on ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox. And she is an official speaker for the Think and Grow Rich Legacy World Tour. So I'm blessed to have her with us because she's probably very busy. As a published author of 9 books, she coaches entrepreneurs to build a true legacy that lasts while using media to reach more people. And as taught in her book, she has a recent book, The Media Secrets Revealed. So we have lots to learn from you today, Lori. Thank you for being with me.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. I get to get out of bed every morning and do what I love. So I'm excited. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, and isn't that the best thing? To be doing what you feel your purpose is and be able to serve people. I mean, that to me,
Absolutely.
that's a total blessing.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I have some good questions. I got to dig deep and get some info out of you.
Great. I'm
Okay.
ready
Okay. So
today. Let's talk
so
about some good stuff.
yeah. So what makes you different from other coaches?
So there's a couple of different things that actually make me a little bit different and a little bit unique. First of all, I had a very successful 23-year career in education and in business. I am a retired business professor where I taught undergraduate and graduate programs all over the country, and I actually am a curriculum designer. So
Oh,
I literally helped build business departments from the ground up in
cool.
designing all of the curriculum that many students actually continue to be enrolled in today. So that's one of the areas that make me different. The other area that makes me different is I've already been traveling internationally and teaching and speaking since I was actually 13. I've been traveling to countries all over. And so to really get an understanding of what goes on in different cultures and in different types of business is definitely a strength that I bring to every coaching session every single day. And the fact that I've also been in media continuously since I was 11. So you mix those two worlds of business strategy, of international business, and of media strategy together. And I bring a lot to the overall learning enterprise in any coaching, teaching, or speaking that I do.
For sure, for sure. I totally get it, and it makes such sense. Really, in today's, and everybody needs to have the media strategy is huge in business. Well, wonderful. So, have you used your toolbox that you said you have a toolbox that you have to build business and to help other people?
I have definitely, I have something that I developed, to be honest, very organically and in the beginning, very much by accident when I was contracted for 5 years to teach customer service, leadership, communication, and a whole bunch of key foundational things to Oregon State Parks. I was actually one of their main leadership trainers
Okay.
over 15 years ago. And through those conversations and through that training process, I organically developed something that I call the toolbox. So this is actually something that I've been teaching for many years. And it stems around the idea of standing in your value and the uniqueness of who you are and who you were created to be in the world. So we all have a past, whether it's good, bad, indifferent. We all have an amazing, plethora of experiences that we draw from either consciously or subconsciously every single day
So true.
that make us who we. So what I teach is that you step into the unique tools that you have in your toolbox in order to help solve problems externally. So you use what you have internally, and every tool, just like with an actual toolbox that we might have in our garage or in our shed, every tool has a specific purpose. Every tool is meant to solve a specific problem. So all of those unique tools that make up who we are meant to serve a specific purpose and to solve a specific problem. So the deeper that you step into the greater sense of self, the more that you learn which tools that you need it every single day that you need to pull out of your internal toolbox in order to solve those external problems. And I have done that not only as a business professor and as a coach, as an educator, as a parent, in a many different ways, because the idea is that I've added the tools to my toolbox and that I now have this amazing, toolbox full of internal tools that I use just to navigate basic, like, critical thinking, problem solving, communication, whatever that is. And every single person has their own unique toolbox.
Exactly. And I couldn't agree even more than that, because I actually use a toolbox as part of what I do with my clients. And it's really breaking it down. When we look at our strengths, our weaknesses, our threats, and our opportunities, we all know what the SWOT is. But when we use our strengths and we put our opportunities together and we put those in our toolbox, because those are positive tools that we have to work with, and utilize them. It's to realize it and utilize them. So definitely, it really does. It helps us along our journey, no matter what we're trying to do, is to have those positives in the toolbox. Fantastic. So why are so many business owners and entrepreneurs, why do they struggle to reach the high levels in business? What's missing?
There are a lot of different foundational tools that some businesses know that are missing, and a lot of businesses don't, because let's face it, we don't know what we don't know. So there's a lot of those foundational tools that maybe haven't been learned yet or haven't been discovered, or even if they have, we live in such a fast-paced world, fast-paced society, yes, that we're always trying to figure out how to fast track things. And most of the time, whether we want to admit it or not, a lot of entrepreneurs are so busy just being busy, and there's the right things that they need to do to get to that next level or to produce the income that they need to produce. And so they're always trying to kind of shortcut things a little too much without building that strong foundation that comes with very specific business strategies, coupled with media strategies that help them get to that next level. Because one of the things that I taught as a business professor were different strategies in very different classes. So you were either in marketing and in media and you learned certain things on that track, or you were in entrepreneurship and management and you learned certain classes, and things on that track. But there are very few programs really that teach how to fit those pieces together. So when I retired and transitioned into what I do now every single day, it's really helping people understand the foundational business strategies with the media strategies and how to really fit the pieces together and overall leverage those entirely to really meet that next level. A lot of people have heard of a business plan. They maybe know that they should have some marketing, but there's really a lot of gaps around not only how to fit those pieces together, but what the strategies, really entail, what they are, and how they are important for you, for the full essence of who you are, and for the goals that you have and the target market that you have. It's very, very easy to get wrapped up into watching what's going on around you and think, oh, I want that. Oh, that looks good. I want to do that. And really, it's not in alignment with who you are and what you're even trying to accomplish in your business. So even if you find yourself spending a lot of time and a lot of money and you find yourself exhausted and you're busy, the reality is that you're not actually focused on the things that you should be focused on that are going to get you to that next level, not just business in general.
Exactly. Fabulous. Great information. I hope our viewers and listeners are paying attention and going to make some notes to ask you some questions, because really it is all about that. It is. We need to know and keep our focus. I teach with my clients the importance of planning, calendaring, having your weekly planning days and review what happened before so you can make adjustments and changes to what you need. It's all in prioritizing and synchronizing what needs to happen in order to be able to move on to the next step. But you're taking it, into everything, into business, and how those pieces go together with your media, adding that to that, because businesses really need that. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Um, so why is having a media plan so important? Because we just talked about that. But I mean, you don't really think of the having the actual plan for media. Most people just know they have to have it, but they don't realize it, to put together a plan.
Yes, absolutely. So one of the things that I'm so
Is I don't.
passionate about, there is an actual strategy to utilizing media, and I teach that you don't throw spaghetti at the wall, so to speak, and just take random interviews or reach out to people randomly, because everything is about the clear alignment. Because when that media outlet is in alignment with what you do, then you're already going to be in front of your target audience, and you're not just wondering, what the ROI is going to be from that. So to really understand the alignment piece and the mindset piece behind media is absolutely huge. And what I'm finding is that a lot of entrepreneurs don't really understand the world of media. They're just throwing spaghetti at the wall, and they have this very, very random, unorganized approach to how they are even being featured. Whether that's a Facebook Live, whether that's a TV show, whether that's an article, it doesn't matter, but they're very scattered. So you absolutely have to have that plan. And I help clients actually formalize those 30-day, 60-day, 90-day plans at a time with the overall goal in mind, but focus on the small pieces that then help you, get to that ultimate goal. But there's a lot so it's not difficult, but it takes work. And so because we live in that fast-paced world where everybody's trying to fast track everything, the reality is a lot of entrepreneurs don't really want to put in the work, when really what they need to understand is that by building that strong foundation and putting in the work, you're actually getting to where you want to go faster, because a lot of entrepreneurs aren't doing it. So you're going to pass them up faster than you realize, because you are already putting yourself in a very different, unique box just by doing the work. So that's what a lot of people need to understand, is that when you need to prep for your interviews, when you need to spend time really crafting, the right pitch or the right message, it's actually going to garner you more solid results that are much more in alignment with what you want. So it is a starting point. I help people really understand fully the 5-star strategy process that I teach in media, and how to fit those in with your overall business goals and business strategies by developing. We start with a 30-day plan, and we work with absolutely every aspect and putting those pieces together in the first 30 days. And then we build from that ultimately gets you to wherever you want to go. Because a lot of people, they want the logos, right? They're flashy. They're the social proof. They're the thing that everybody wants on their social media, on their website, but they don't really understand what it takes to actually get there. And that you've got to have the meat, and you've got to have the substance and the foundation behind those logos. It's not just enough to say you get to use the logo.
Right, exactly.
So, like for me, for instance, so I'm featured in media over 500 times a year. I have a very specific strategy that I use on a regular daily basis that has been proven over and over and over, not only for myself, but for my clients. And it's not just enough to say, oh yeah, I was on TV once, and then you leverage the same photos and the logo and all that. No, I actually live and breathe what I teach in my own business strategies every single day in what I do. So I can tell you they work. I can tell you they're absolutely essential, and prove the results to you very, very quickly by starting off with that mindset and understanding of the world of media, and then ultimately get you very quick results so that you understand, wow, this is what I've been missing, and this is why it's so important. Because look at the ROI that came off of one media opportunity that was in complete alignment and has the strong strategies to completely leverage that media opportunity. So it's so much more than what people realize. But this is the tough thing, because people aren't diving into it and really taking the time to understand it. There's this very general idea of, yeah, that's a good idea. I know I need it, but they're not really being pushed enough in their own mindset to realize the full value of what they're missing, and how they're literally leaving money and opportunity on the table by not integrating this as part of their overall business plan and strategy. But I can tell you that with a clear 30-day path to even get started and launched from, that it would become very obvious very quickly what you've been missing.
Totally makes sense. And I understand that from the aspect of what I do with clients and helping them build their plan of goal achievement, because you have to get in there and dig and do that work, because you can't get from point A to point B unless you actually know really where you're starting with and where you want to end up. And if they don't have those pieces put together, and know ahead of time, then how are we going to help them get there? So it is a lot of digging. So awesome. That's fantastic. And so this is talking, we were just talking in general with entrepreneurs, but right now, Lori, so many people are starting new businesses because of what's been happening with this whole pandemic, not knowing if they're going to have jobs or other businesses to go back to. So what would you say to the new people starting out?
I always say start with what you have. Like, don't necessarily allow yourself to go down the rabbit hole of overwhelm by not by knowing that you don't know everything, and so then you just don't know where to start, or you don't even start at all. So, but you do have tools that are in your internal toolbox. You do have people that you can reach out to, even if you only have a few resources, whatever that looks like. Start with what you have. And when it comes to media specifically, and putting together those media strategies, you can easily low cost, because a lot of times when people are starting businesses, they don't even know what a budget should look like.
Right.
And there's so many things where they don't even know where to start. So you can engage absolutely in social media for free, and you can learn and start to make those connections and start to build those relationships and navigate fully into that process of figuring out what works for you and what doesn't work for you, because it's not going to be the same for everybody.
True.
With media specifically, start local. Like, there's usually local radio, local newspaper. There's some kind of a column or social media page
Right,
that you can
right.
be part of. Whatever that is, you have local opportunities or regional opportunities that you can start with. Don't necessarily shoot for the moon if you don't have the foundation built. So it's like you were saying, you've got to have that roadmap. But then if you don't even have if you're not even utilizing your local resources, like your local chamber even, or your local economic development teams, whatever that is, start with what you have and dive into that learning process and begin to unlock the magic in your own mind of what that life even looks like for you. What does that even mean to you? Why do you even want to do it? So when you have the right conversations with the right people, then you can start to, bump yourself up with higher and higher level resources, higher and higher level people. But don't think that there's not gold within your own local resources that may even be free to you, because you have to start somewhere. So the idea is that you just start. You have that faith over fear, and you get out of that paralysis by analysis and the idea that you have to have more information to even start with. No, you don't. You have to pick up the phone or schedule that meeting, and you have to begin to just have that conversation and learn from the people that are at least in business in some way, or with your chamber, they're involved in it in some way, to where you can begin to navigate that a little bit. Obviously, there's different types of businesses. Some might be online, but there's still business resources locally that know something, and that somebody probably knows a little bit more than you do, at least to some level, that will give you an opportunity to start somewhere. But as far as social media, engage more in some of the groups. If you already have an idea or a niche, then engage in that and just start paying attention. If you don't know where to start, there's still groups for people that are new and brand new and can bounce ideas off of each other and that kind of thing. So you don't have to have a lot of money. You don't even really have to have a lot of time. You don't have to start with like this major roadmap to even start, because people are afraid that they're going to waste time and money if they don't have all of their enough options, in front of them to make decisions. And here's the reality. You don't even know your options until you take that next step. That's the reality. So when people are in the mindset of, oh, I need a little bit more time, I need a little bit more information, I can't make this decision, I'm afraid to make the wrong decision. The reality is that different resources, different people, different opportunities, different aha moments will surface with each individual step and action step that you take. So it's not even possible for you to see and know and understand all of your options.
Right.
And I want people to really let that sink in. It's not possible. So you can actually lift a huge weight off of your shoulders and know that it's not even possible. So start with what you have.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Uh, awesome information. I hope everybody listening takes that in. And also, one thing I wanted to mention, there are programs. It's called SCORE, Senior Corps of Retired Entrepreneurs, I believe, and they are a great connection to find, because they have many people that have been in business in tremendous amount of fields to choose from, to be able to get that contact and somebody to help guide you. Wonderful, wonderful. And so, what advice would you have for struggling entrepreneurs, how they can start today moving their success needle?
There's a lot of different basic strategies that you can start with today.
Oh.
And one of them is just make a basic list, really. I mean, if you're just like overwhelmed and you don't know where to start with making a list. What are some things that you want to accomplish? Why are some reasons that you even want to be in entrepreneurship? Like, what are you really wanting to do with that? Most people get into entrepreneurship because of time and money freedom. Some people have a passion of something that they really want to do in the world, and sometimes that evolves and sometimes that changes. But you have to start at least with some basic information of why you even want to do it in the first place. It's okay if it changes. It's okay if it evolves. It's okay if you have a money goal when you start, because a lot of people do. But what's interesting is that when you step into that deeper sense of self and learning, you actually realize that there's so much more than you even knew that you would be interested in, or that lights you up, that helps you, get out of bed in the morning, or either that or your passion and your purpose gets stronger and stronger and more refined. So when you start off by making basic lists, to where there's something magical in your brain that happens when you literally put your hand with your pen and paper and it's popping off the page and staring right at you. It's a very, very different process than even typing on your computer. It just is. So everything is so electronic. And I really, really learned this as an educator when I was developing curriculum and when I was walking people through certain learning objectives. I was never a fan of people taking notes on their laptops in my rooms. There was something very, very different in the learning process that takes place in the brain when you literally are putting pen and pencil to paper. So this is a process to get to that deeper subconscious level for you that I absolutely recommend in the beginning and at certain phases, that to unlock that magic in your brain, that you need to actually write down, because you will notice patterns that you're unlocking, and you will see words and phrases and ideas on paper, and your brain will absorb and think about those very, very differently. Now, once you put them on your computer and you organize and you do whatever, that's fine. But there's certain things that I believe make a huge difference when you actually write them down. And it doesn't matter if you've been in business for 10, 20 years. There's certain types of the process that I still will encourage people to actually be in a quiet space, take the time to slow down, think about what you're doing and what you're going to write on that paper. Or in some cases on a big white piece of paper with markers, whatever that is. It's that visual effect of the difference in how your brain is processing the information versus typing it. So I encourage people to start with lists. If you don't know what to start with, what's popping out of your brain? What's popping out of your, just do a free write. Because I'm an author, I'm a writer. So there's a part of this process that absolutely applies even if you're not. And just allowing your thoughts and your ideas to just surface, and then just jotting those down really quickly. Even throughout your day, something pops into your mind, write it down. It could be in the shower, it could be when you're on a walk, it could be something that somebody says or that you see on Facebook, whatever that is. Just write down the ideas and keep an ongoing flowing list of things that are popping out for you. Even if you don't understand the connections right away with how some of the pieces fit, it doesn't matter. Because there's no logic, so to speak, at this point. There's no judgment. There's no refining. This is literally just allowing your ideas to come to the surface and then putting them down on paper and letting your brain kind of marinate with that a little bit. And those pieces might not completely make sense until you stepped into whatever that next level of learning that you need. And then it's on paper and you're thinking, oh, okay, this is how those fits, and this is how these ideas can go together, or whatever that is, and this is how this person that I might have popped into my head fits into my plan, and all those things. So don't get stuck in trying to understand it all. Just allow it to evolve and happen. And one of the most basic ways to start to do that is just to jot down ideas on paper, honestly.
Right, right. And that's another thing. I couldn't agree more with that, because I teach my clients when it comes to um, journaling as part of the design your own destiny planning system that I have. Doing that journaling, make those notes throughout the day. You go back and you might notice something that you made a note of today that you need to put into your calendar for next week, because we don't always remember to enter it at that time. So it's always there. But, those thoughts and ideas that come to us, if we don't write them down, they may never come to fruition, because we really need to review what we've put down. So it's a fantastic that you shared that. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Even if you don't think it's important at the
Right.
time, you're still putting pieces together, so you don't know if it's going to fit, you don't know how it's going to fit. It doesn't matter. If something pops into your mind, just write it down. If there's a word that pops into your mind just
Right.
randomly,
Right.
just write it down.
Yeah, and even authors, how many of us have had notes upon notes upon notes before we put our books together? So yeah, that is so true. Well, wonderful, Lori. It's been great having you and having you share this information. So I'm sure if anyone has questions and stuff, reach out to Lori. Do you have any special offers for our guests today?
I do. I have a free guide to the top media mistakes that entrepreneurs make. So this is a powerful guide because they're not difficult things to implement or to change. If you find yourself reading this through this guide and you think, oh my gosh, I'm doing like half of these things, then they're really easy things to just know and understand. So I teach in the guide why and why not as we go through the list, so that you understand the deeper reason why you should do certain things and why not to do certain things, but to really understand the top mistakes that people are making and how crucial that those mistakes are in hurting their business or in helping your business. So it's super easy. Just go to mediasecrets.net and you will automatically be emailed that free guide directly to your inbox.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. And thank you for being with me. And just to let everybody know, I am Patricia Jo Grover. This is the Patricia Jo Grover Show. And to keep it simple, you can find out more about me at patriciajogrover.com. I have a video that's coming up right after us that has the special text in offer that I have for everyone that's viewing. And until next time, thank you for being with us. Have a
Thank you
great
so
day.
much.